All right, Thompson Intermediate School. Dr. Vickers, we just finished our 2 years at Thompson Intermediate School, and what a blessing those administrators and staff were to us as a family. We loved the intermediate school.
The intermediate school, and I have to tell you, Dr. Hayes and her administrative team and the teachers there have just done a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing that.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. Dr. Hayes, she just finished her doctorate, so I want to give her
She is the
thumbs up
best.
on
We
that.
love Dr.
Yeah.
Hayes.
She's amazing. And when you look at TIS, TIS is a middle school, so they've kind of got some advantages over just a regular elementary school.
Right.
That school was built as a middle school, but it's been a perfect intermediate. The things that we're doing, the Liberty Learning Foundation, the EL nights that we've had, and the EL learners that we brought in from all over the state that came in to see what we were doing. The academic success we've had there.
Yeah.
They had their first A a few years ago. The intermediate schools, always been struggling to get an A, and they've got that. And I think they'll probably return close to that this year. Yeah. So, I'm excited for that because that academic work is there and the structures. Having a reading and math coach dedicated to that school. The state provides some, but they don't provide them for those. The school system provides them, and that's a big factor in making sure now we're getting some funding from the state. But we kind of got ahead of that, and we kind of put people in place long before the state had those funds coming to us. So we're excited about that. Their boostathon. You can always tell when your boostathon raises $25,000. Then your parents are engaged.
Yeah, the
parents are engaged. They're happy. They're excited, and I think that's been a very positive for TIS. Great PTO. When you look at the reader leaders and the stuff that they've done, I don't know if you noticed, but when you go in the bathrooms or you go in the restrooms, whatever, they have all these positive comments. You're important. You're a success. You can do this. Those kind of things, because we want to start that messaging to all of our kids early on. I know they're getting it from our parents, they're getting it from our teachers, but when they're walking the hall, they're getting that positive action. That was one of Dr. Hayes' ideas. She wanted to brighten that up and send that positive message out to our kids. Even when they're having a bad day, they're getting a positive message somewhere. And I think that's important. The teachers, administrators, the things they did with letters training. K3, a lot of places across the state, K3 are doing the letters training. Well, we're actually, our intermediate, middle, and high are doing letters and doing all types of numeracy and literacy training that's not required, that we're just offering, trying to get as many people involved as we can. And that's in the science. It's really the science of reading, but in my opinion, there's a broader scope of it, the science of learning. And understanding that process and how we reach all kids, I think has really transformed us academically. And TIS is a great example of that. You look at their trajectory, each year has gotten better and better, and that's with hard work and dedication and partnership with our parents. And our students enjoy being there.
Yeah.
That matters, having them there and happy. When I go into TIS, everybody's happy. They're going to lunch. They're excited. They're, having a great day. And that matters too.
I think it was a great transition from the elementary, getting them ready for going into middle school. It was kind of an awkward time at times, but they're finding their way. They're learning leadership. They're learning independence. And the teachers and administrators did a great job of that.
And very well said. That leadership and that finding their way. That's one thing I can tell you, is that we probably never had anyone lost during the day.
That's right.
At a school. We might have one get off at the wrong bus stop.
Right.
But during the day, they'll find their way and they'll ask questions. And our students here are resilient. Our children are resilient. They respond. And I always tell people, I was elementary principal for a long time, and one mother said, she just gets so upset when I leave her. And I said, yeah, but when I get around that corner with her, she's going to be fine.
Right.
And I said, now, it may take you a couple blocks
right.
to get over it, because I get it. Because when I dropped Will off at kindergarten, I was like a big baby.
Yeah.
And so I get it as a parent. But that we want our children to feel that way and have that strength and the ability. Because in life, that matters.
You're right.
So,
Absolutely.
and when you look at what they do at intermediate school, and I think you said it as a parent so well, they prepare them because they're changing classes a little bit. They have more than one teacher. So they're getting that preview of transition to the middle school where they have maybe 5 teachers.
Right.
They've had maybe 3. So that's important. And I think our system does a really good job of trying to work with our parents so our parents can say, okay, well, it's not going to be that much more difficult than last year.
Right. Just building those stair
Yeah,
steps one at a time.
And it matters. And it gives us confidence as parents. Yeah. And I think that's the big part of it is it's all about working together. And TIS does a fabulous job. Dr. Hayes and her team, and that school is just such a beautiful school.
Yes.
It is a gorgeous school. We get so many compliments on that school, and it looks. Matter of fact, I think it looks better today than the day it opened.
I agree with you on that one. Yeah, it does.
We did get rid of all the forest green and mauve that was in it. That they didn't have school colors on. This was a middle school, and there's no school colors.
It's a little more ACS-ified, right?
So we did that over the past few years, kind of put in the school colors, and the students love it.
Yeah, it looks
On
great.
my advisory committee at TIS, I love them because they're all like, oh, we love the school colors, and we love the water bottle wine fountains and that kind of stuff. So they do like it. So TIS does a great job, and that's an intermediate school doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Taking our kids academically, moving them in a positive way, and preparing them for that next step along the way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Vickers.
Okay, thank you.